Hello everybody, for those who don't know me, I am Marius Kukumur, chatting with you here from the Libra Racing with number 27 YouTube channel. I race Ducati Panigale in the SPK series in the Master Division, as well as in the Monaco Racing Series, which is our regional series in South Africa. You guys are welcome to follow us and to see our adventures there with our privateers team. Hopefully we can later expand that, but for now we're running a very small team, and I think we are the only Ducati at the moment racing in the SPK series, and we will see how we can climb this mountain and get closer to the top guys. Obviously, as a racer, we also always want to get very close to the front. We're still a bit away from it, but we're working at it. We're working on it. On our previous video, we were just basically touching on two subjects which I would like to share in this video. It's about our visit in Silverstone. I think it's an experience I can share with many people on, and just highlight the excitement and how great it is to go to one of these events. Obviously, if it's in your budget, it's a must do. You will not regret it, because you get so much closer to the real racing. It's at a level that you cannot really describe to other people. It's just amazing. There are so many aspects to it, especially for like guys like me and many other racers. When you get closer to these top level guys, there are things that you can notice and see and learn from, and you can also see the professionalism from these race teams. It's at a level, the bar is quite high. If I compare, for example, and I don't shoot our South African or even other national race series all over the world down against what these guys do, but they are just on a different level. Obviously the budgets are way out of bounds for any privateer team or for smaller teams in any other leagues internationally to do what these guys do. But it's exciting to get close to the racing. But before we talk more about the racing, when you purchase one of these MotoGP packages, there are various packages that you can go in, and on the web page there on MotoGP there's enough information. I'm not going to go into detail with that, but I can share that we attended the MotoGP VIP village. I think this is one of the things personally I will never do again. I will always just purchase a standard stand ticket like we did in 2019 at the Austrian GP. And we will talk about the Austrian GP as well a little bit later in one of the videos. But for the Silverstone experience, I can say that the VIP village had a lot of, I would say there was a lot of positive things that I can highlight. The atmosphere was great. You're close to the race, close to certain corners of the racetrack, depending on where they stage the VIP village, as well as it gives you access to the pits. Depending again what level of package you purchase. We purchased the gold and silver package, which gave us access on the Friday and the Saturday into the pits. This is the one exciting thing I can highlight. And we can just hold on this picture. Is that you can see and you can actually feel the electricity there. The team getting ready for the race. They're working very hard, and the level of professionalism here can just be, it's so visible. And I would have liked to get closer to the teams and really chat to a few mechanics, and that's one of the disadvantages of the pit pass. You can get in there, but you can't get close enough to go and chat to the riders or chat to the mechanics. There is obviously there's barriers, and they do block you if you try to get in there. But still, I think we were close enough to get a real feel for how these teams operate. I think everyone will remember that this race rained out on the Sunday, but on the Saturday we already heard there's rumors of big rain coming, so we knew we will have a wet GP. But the Saturday was quite dry, and at least we could see good race, good preparation for racing going on, good practice, and good qualifying sessions going on. And for me as a racer, what I really enjoyed was to be that close to the racetrack and see how these racers use the track. I specifically paid attention of how they approach the corners, how they exit the corners, and just the whole approach of the racing, how they used the bikes and the track. All these pictures, I have to brag a little bit. I took these pictures myself. I don't have the best camera out there, but I think decent enough to have a good few set of pictures as a memory. Just hold on, you can hold on this one here. One of the highlights for me for the I would say the free practice sessions and the qualifying was Johan Zarco. I particularly looked at his riding style and how he was riding, and he's just at a level at that specific weekend. He was at a level that was just for me astounding, just amazing. Obviously, I'm a big Lorenzo fan, and I was happy. You can go to the next one there. I was happy to at least see him take pole position for the weekend. That's actually something we can chat a little bit about. If you look at the whole MotoGP grid overall, what I really looked at from a personal perspective is the level of the different riders. If you look at down from Carl Abraham all the way up to Lorenzo, Marquez, Rossi, Rins, you can see quite a big difference in the riding styles, in the approach, how they use the track. And then you look at guys like Marquez, obviously, and Lorenzo and Rossi. You can just see the difference when they attack the corners. The way they break the bike into the corners, it's the aggressiveness is at a different level. And I think that's what makes the top riders stand out. It's that they're not scared. They just go for it to the maximum. There is absolutely, it's almost like they don't have brakes on the bike. They just go flat out as maximum as they can. Well, obviously they have a budget that allows for it, and I think that's what makes it so exciting, that these guys are on, that allows them to be at that level. Before we go on to the next clips, an exciting thing that happened during the MotoGP is that when we learned about the rain on the Sunday, and even on the Sunday morning, MotoGP was, the organizers was like on and off. We're going to race, they're not going to race, we're going to race, they're not going to race. And everyone was anticipating, waiting to see the race. And people were standing outside in the rain, waiting and waiting and waiting. Unfortunately, the crash with Tito Rabat was a factor of consideration for the riders not to race. And eventually they all decided altogether collectively not to race. Obviously everyone was unhappy. There was a lot of post-race comments about the poor management of MotoGP, but I can honestly say that in the end of the day, I think they made the right call. It's always about rider safety. Yes, there is, I bought a VIP ticket, so I know what it is to pay a lot of money to go to MotoGP and then don't see it. But what also made me excited about the MotoGP was knowing that the following week I will attend this track day hosted by the Silverstone track day organizers. I rented there's different options before I talk about it. There's different options. You can come with your own bike. The prices may vary now, but I think at that stage it was like £400 for the track day. Quite expensive if you compare to what we pay for track days in South Africa. And then you can also rent a bike from them. I rented the Yamaha R1M. I've never been on a Yamaha before on a racetrack, but it was always a curiosity that kept me going. How does the Yamaha go? Especially on a track like this, I think this is where the Yamaha come into its own, to really use it on a track where the bike can work on a flowing racetrack. For those who don't know, I never revealed this before. It was a bit rainy in the morning, and obviously you don't want to crash the bike, especially the Yamaha R1M, and I crashed on the first session. Not a big crash, just a slight few cosmetic damage, and obviously I had to pay for the damage, but the cost of that I will not share. When you book one of these track days, you pay up front, and also a small deposit for crash damage, but they can hold you accountable for up to £2,000 maximum of the crash damage, if there is any. I also took my own race kit, my boots, helmets, my suit, gloves. but you can also rent from them if you want. And I would recommend rather rent from them, because I had to carry my suitcase all over UK with all my gear, and that was really a schlep. The next time if I rent a track bike overseas, I will definitely rent the full kit, the whole gear, everything from them. It's just so much more convenient. Yeah, you pay for it, but you pay for the convenience. The track event is hosted by some of the top BSP guys. As you can see there, Niall Mackenzie, who is a very well-known figure in BSB, with his son Taryn Mackenzie. Both of them very well experienced and very good track coaches. Our track, you can just hold it there. Our track coaches for the day was Andy Spidey. His nickname was Spidey, and during the course of the day, obviously some other coaches comes along, like Niall himself and Taryn, and they come and coach you a little bit more about how to use Silverstone racetrack, and the level of things they teach you there. It's just amazing, really something I mean, it's expensive to book these track days, but the things you learn, the money cannot recover that. We also met a few of the popular guys there. Obviously, as I said earlier, Taryn, he's one of the top racers there in the BSB series, and then also I was fortunate enough to meet Leon Haslam, and just again, both of them top guys and always willing to share information. Even Leon, although he wasn't part of the Yamaha paddock, he was with the Kawasaki team, and still he was willing to share some information with me on how to use the bike on this race, especially on this racetrack at maximum. For any person who has the budget to do one of these racetracks, obviously it's a must. But beyond the race track days that you can book abroad, I honestly want to recommend our South African racers. There is AJ Venter, Jason Wessels, Doran Loureiro, even the track day organizers at Red Star. There are many out there, and you can go individually on each of their websites and find out more about how they host these racetracks, because it's just a must. For me, even it doesn't matter at what level racing you are. If you're a beginner, just getting into it, you're already experienced, or you're well experienced, you can never learn enough. I think there's a lot of top racers out there that learn from others. Rossi himself learns from Luca Cadalora still today. Who else wouldn't want to learn from the best guys in the world? There's just so many things and it's a continuous game of learning. You can be on the same bike, on the same setup, on a different day, on the same racetrack, and you learn new things because conditions are always changing. There's so many variables that you have to learn with racing, and I think any racer, proper racer, will tell you that there's not even one corner that you can go into from the one to the next lap that's the same. There's always something to learn and always something to advance yourself with. So that's why I think one of these racetrack days are just it's just a must. So once this COVID-19 gets relaxed and everyone can get back to the racetracks, book yourself a racetrack day or a proper track day with AJ Venter or Jason Wessels or whoever you can find that can teach you some things. I myself will also be available hopefully soon on the South African racetrack. All depends on when we can get back. I hope that what we've shared today have given you some insight of the MotoGP itself, as well as the racetrack track days that we attend from time to time. And if there's any information you need or any comments you want to put below on the video, like our page, share our page. We would like to grow our fan page for our small privateer team as much as possible, and always look out for number 27 there. You'll see him on the red Panigale.